5 years later, a man abandoned his dog and her newborn puppies by tying her to a tree in the middle of the jungle. What happened to the puppies? Your heart will be broken by what transpired. It was a bitter winter morning in the snowy wilderness of British Columbia. Carl's truck rattled down a narrow dirt path weaving through the tall pine trees. Until he stopped beside a lonely cedar. In the backseat sat Daisy, a gentle golden retriever whose soft eyes had never stopped trusting him. Beside her, inside a worn cardboard box, lay 3 tiny squirming puppies. Carl didn't say a word. He set the box on the frozen ground. Daisy watched, confused, when he tied a thick rope around her neck and fastened it to the tree. She didn't resist. She never did. Her tail didn't wag, but her eyes still searched his for reassurance. He didn't look back as the sound of the engine faded. Daisy barked a single desperate cry. She pulled against the rope, trying to reach her puppies, but it held Tig. Daisy shivered, not only from the cold, deeper frost, but also from the harsh, unfamiliar weight of treachery. After a number of hours had passed, the woodland became silent, and soon after, a noise reached the scene. A rustling, heavy steps in the snow. From the shadows emerged a family of black bears. Massive, calm, powerful, the largest, a scarred female, stepped forward. Daisy froze, unable to move. She lowered her head, waiting for the worst. But instead the bear sniffed the air, paused by the rope, and began to gnaw it. Bit by bit the fibers frayed and gave way. Daisy was free. What followed was nothing short of extraordinary. The bears didn't chase her off. They stayed close. The matriarch kept her distance, but watched. Daisy, cautious at first, stayed near for warmth. Her puppies thrived in the shelter of the forest. Slowly, an unusual bond grew, born of hardship, survival, and something deeper. 5 years passed. Carl believed that he had moved on for a long time. But on a chilly evening, while driving through the same forest, his vehicle sputtered and collapsed on an empty road. There was no signal, so there was no one to aid him, so he ventured into the woods. The deeper he walked, the more he felt it, that eerie sense of being watched. Then from the darkness figures appeared, large, silent, glowing eyes, a group of bears, and at their center Daisy. She was older now, stronger, her fur flecked with gray, but her eyes, he knew those eyes. Carl fell to his knees. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "I was a coward. I didn't deserve you." There was no sound, only the quiet of the forest. Then the scarred bear stepped forward, but stopped when Daisy moved between them. She didn't growl or bark. She simply looked at Carl, holding his gaze. Then she turned and walked back into the trees. Carl remained frozen in the snow, shaken and ashamed, but alive. From that moment on, he returned, not to ask for forgiveness, but to show it. Week after week, he left food, water, and blankets. He never got too close, but sometimes just beyond the trees, he saw her watching. She never approached, but she never disappeared without a trace. Carl understood that Daisy's silence was not rejection. Rather, it was something more powerful. It was acknowledgement. It was grace. And in that quiet acceptance, he found the forgiveness he had not dared to hope for. Daisy had built a new life for herself, one that combined strength, resilience, and wild freedom. Despite the fact that she never licked his hand again, Carl understood that Daisy's silence was not rejection.